just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if it's sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 68 with Mike and Alex. And here we go. Only one way to start. The Brooklyn Nets defeat the Milwaukee Bucks 114-108, a game that the Nets looked dead. They were just terrible. They were down 17 in the third quarter. And then they came back. And I've been talking, Alex, this whole fucking time we've been doing this podcast together. You know this. You know me. I've said it multiple times. Jeff Green is so underrated. So I'll say that to begin.
Oh, he is, yeah.
And then Kevin Durant put together, in my opinion, what I've ever seen, the greatest performance in Nets history. And I've never.
You don't give that away often. You don't say things like that often.
No,
so
and it was just a game where he was.
Go ahead, go off. Do your thing, man. Don't worry about me.
He was just unbelievable. I mean, like,
yeah,
they were dead. I mean, they were dead, and he did everything. I mean, he did everything. He made shots. He passed the ball. He played defense. He blocked shots. I mean, he played like he was one of the 10 best in the history of the sport. And it was just amazing. Barkley's was rocking. Harden, there's a lot to talk about on his front. So many angles there. But, I waited a long time to watch games like that. And they didn't win the series or anything like that. It's 3-2. There's a long way to go. And I expect to see Milwaukee rocking for game 6. But It just had the feeling where I've seen the Nets my whole life, and there's a loss, and it's just like, okay, this was fun.
Here we go. Yeah.
And he just took it to a level that I've never seen. Vince Carter's great. Jason Kidd's great. But that was like, that's like Larry Bird, Michael Jordan shit. And it was beautiful to watch. And it was just, that 1-3 he had when they were up 1 and
the broken play. Yeah.
The broken play. And I said, like, this guy's different, man. And, no mentions of Kyrie. And I just, that was a great win. That was an all-time win for me. That was beautiful. And now they got to finish the series. And I don't want to get too hung up on that, but,
enjoy the moment, man. Enjoy the moment, because you shouldn't have won this game. The Bucks were crushing them. I mean, it would just look like it was like, all right, you're not crushing, but they were in control. And it didn't even look like the Nets had a pulse. And then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, the Nets took control. The Bucks choked, and the Nets took control of it. And the Bucks gave them the window, and Durant kicked it open. You know what I mean? And Durant is like, he's just so calculated watching him play. Like he's when he has somebody on him that he knows he can take, he's like, I'm getting to this spot, like the corner of the free throw line. I'm getting to this spot, and I'm shooting my jump shot right here. And that's what I could tell you I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it like Larry Bird-esque, like you said. And the broken plays, like that 3, when that play, I was like, oh, that's good. I just know it's good, because it's just, he's the kind of player that he's going to nail that stuff when it's just freestyle and basketball, and it's just, nobody's better than him right now. And it's just is what it is,
Yeah, man. I want them to win the title so badly. And he just gave one of those performances where it just gives me hope. Like, this is something that's possible. And it was just, he was so good. He was just so good. I don't know how to say it, but I know I'm getting boring, but he was just,
no, it's not boring,
fucking brilliant. I've never seen somebody that just could do whatever he wanted. It was art. It was spectacular. It was the best performance I've ever seen in my life in any game. And he played every single minute. I mean, he played every single minute, and he just didn't seem fatigued. Like, he played great defense. He rebounded the ball. He had assists. He had a triple double. I watched something like I watched that game like I was watching another team, and he did that. And the way they came back, and I I don't think like, as Milwaukee's spirit crushed. They went into game 3 and they beat the Nets. So I expect, don't get me wrong, there's nothing like that there. I think Milwaukee's going to give extreme effort. And I have said this multiple times on this podcast, and I've said it multiple times in real life. The Nets went up 2-0, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's over.
It's over."
No one can beat this team. And then Milwaukee won the next 2. The Nets are done. This is the playoff. The Milwaukee's very talented. Sure, they made their mistakes today, and they're flawed in so many ways as well.
Right.
But this is what great teams doing against each other, and it was just one of those games where I was like, I just can't get over how good. I mean, I'm just like, I'm at a loss for words just for how good he was. It was so cool. I mean, it was just so fucking cool. It was like he was my guy. Like, this was my guy, my player, my dude, my team, and I saw it, and he did it. And now we got to go into Milwaukee and finish the deal and continue this run. And the other thing, and I'll let you talk, Alex.
No, go. No, this is your show. This is your show today. No. You got to just go. Just go.
What's fascinating too is Harden played like 43 minutes. Like he's not good to go, but then he can play. He was not quite himself in the first half. The second half, he was a little bit better, but I think just having him out there helps. But like, how does he play 40 something? Like, what? There's so many questions. We're recording this during the post game, which so Harden could play that many minutes. Like what?
I think it was something. Marv, I don't know what. Is there another broadcast? I think it was just TNT, right?
Just TNT. Second round on. It's only the national broadcast.
Maybe didn't hear, but Marv and Grant were talking about how maybe like I'm on first name basis with them, but like they were talking about how Harden isn't sitting a lot, and they were wondering maybe it's because they don't want the hamstring to get cold, and once it gets cold, then there could be a problem. Like you're better off like they sat him down the last 30 seconds of the third quarter or something like that, so we'd have the middle of the quarter, and then it's like built in like real time rest, like you're getting a good amount of rest, but it's not too much where you can't get him back in, and it becomes like 10-minute real time rest becomes 20 because it's like there's no stoppage of play.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So it's so it could be something there, which is probably what happened because Harden's in shape, like he can play. It's just that it's the tendon. Is it going to fall off? I mean, or strain. And man, you just need to enjoy this moment, man, because as fans of like teams like bad weather fans, like bad teams generally in our lives, you don't get moments like this often, and you need to just enjoy it, man. Like I can't even explain to you like what you're feeling right now because it's been so long for me on my teams. I mean, I guess the Mets. I wore this Mets stuff today because I was like, let me make a joke in the beginning of the show and be like, oh, so yeah, Taijuan Walker, did it? Lugo looked great, and like, can you believe that play by Yorme to get Marisnik at the plate? But then I'm like, you know what? You just came in and you're just rolling. I'm like, this is go. That joke's not going to work. You know what I mean? Like, it's just go because it's like you just enjoy yourself because this is just like for me, it's comparative speaking. This is like the Rex years. This is like the 98 Jets. This is like 2015 Mets. This is like you have these moments and these big wins where you're just like, why is this happening to my team? Like this is not supposed to happen. You know what I mean? And it's just you have to soak it in because it can be all gone just like that.
And it's so crazy too because if you think about this, okay, Kyrie Irving, and we saw that ankle injury in game number 4, and that was gruesome. He's not
for the series. He's done. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
well, we'll see. We never know. We thought Harden was done. Right. So
right. Who knows? But I mean, that was one of those. But that's what's so. And you make the joke, but make the joke. The Nets season, this series has been a microcosm of the season because they have so much depth and they can go interchangeable. And I'll go here on a analysis level. Mike James was bad today. He was not giving them anything. He was getting killed on defense. There was one play where he didn't rotate or he came late. Middleton had an and one. You could see the frustration. He was bad. So I give Coach Steve Nash credit because he went to Shamit and they got a little bigger and they could defensively defend against Milwaukee and it looked better and it worked for them. So I thought once they took Mike James out, that was a huge change. I know it's like a little minutia point, but like from that point on, they made it a lot more competitive. That was a big difference. I give a lot of credit to Steve Nash there. And what I started this podcast with, and obviously Durant was the one that carried them and did a lot of the bulk of it, but Jeff Green kept them around. And Jeff Green, he was like 6 for 7 from 3. He was out of his mind good. And he had drives and he did he
kept them in the game. He kept them in striking distance.
Jeff Green's Jeff Green is is a very good player, and
He's an
he was
NBA
and
quality
that-
player. Yes.
And that's why Nets
Mhm.
fans got so disappointed when they saw him go out in that Celtics series, and ultimately in the Celtics series it didn't matter. But Nets fans knew if they were going to like beat Milwaukee, Nets don't beat the Bucks without Jeff Green tonight. And I've been saying on this podcast for the entire season,
have.
this guy is the glue to the Nets. This guy is. I said, let's argue. Is he the fourth most valuable Nets player? And I said, I think so. He was so good tonight, Alex. Jeff Green, like kudos to him. He was brilliant for the Nets, knocking down jumpers, defending Giannis, going to the rim, rebounding. He did everything they asked for him. He was great.
Yeah, man. And listen, and for all that, and this is not taking away anything from the Nets, but the Bucks look like a bunch of frauds tonight, man. At the end of the game, man, Middleton's crossing the guy over, and he dishes Giannis a perfect pass right by the basket, and like he fumbles the pass, missing free throws in the clutch. Like Middleton shoots and he hits the top of the backboard on one of those like rush shots. You know what I've been saying like on these podcasts, how like every time the Nets have a big basket, a dunk, or a big three, the Bucks rush down the court and try to shoot as fast as possible. And Middleton, it worked out on another play when Brooke got the dunk. But like it's just not a good. Just relax, let them get their cheering in, and then set your offense. Don't rush. But it's just the Bucks look like a bunch of frauds, man. I mean, like they had this game under control. I know the Nets. This is not taking away anything from the Nets, but like the Bucks hit their shots, and the Nets have no shot in this game. Like if they consistently hit their shots down the stretch, they have no shot. And it's crazy that they folded like that. It's like they don't even deserve to win this series right now. This was their opening. They had their opening, and they didn't kick the door down like Durant did, or the window, whichever one.
Well, that's why when you say you get all-time great players, and
right.
that's the moments. I mean, that's the moments. And Durant showed up tonight. I mean, he showed up. He bailed them out. He had mid-range jumpers. He made the right pass. He did all of the right things. And Milwaukee's they're such a weird team, Alex. They have been, so weird to watch. Like at moments, they look like the best team I've ever seen. They look unstoppable with Middleton and Holiday hitting shots. And then they go where they go ISO Giannis. They put Brooke in the corner. They put Tucker in the corner. They see what happens. They're just a strange team, and they do weird things. And I've never been so hot and cold in a series and watching a team where I'd say the Nets can do whatever they want against them, or like this looks like the best team the Nets have seen all season. They're Jekyll and Hyde. They are so like that. And Charles Barkley brought this up on TNT at the halftime, and I think it really played out to be true in the second half. He goes, "Let me start by saying I think the Bucks are going to win the championship." And then he said, "But man, they're up 16 points at the half, whatever it was, and they played like garbage," referencing all the threes they took when they went down, when they were up so many points, and they rushed shots early. And I think that's for Milwaukee. Their biggest issue is they're taking so many unwarranted threes early in the shot clock instead of working the offense and getting the ball to the right person. And they should have been up, instead of 15, 16 points at the half, they should have been up 20 to 25. And that would have made a huge difference. They weren't. And you know what it's like. Okay, every team in the NBA makes a run. Okay, and the Nets are good enough where they're going to do that. They got it to that 8 spot. And then Milwaukee just couldn't respond to it. They got it to 9 once, but Durant took over, and it was just the momentum of the home court. And this is why this shit matters. Home court makes a difference. The Nets are 3-0 at home, 0-2 on the road. They're a different basketball team at home. And a big concern for the Nets going on the road is, Joe Harris has been bad. He's been very bad. What will they get in that game 6? It's just, I can't believe, Alex, that we're talking about the Nets up 3. I thought they were done. I mean, my heart was sunk. My heart sunk. I just sunk. It sunk to the ground. And then here they came out of nowhere and got this win. That Kevin Durant performance is there's nothing you could say about it. Like, oh, let's make fun of Kevin Durant because he's got burner accounts. Let's make fun of Kevin Durant because he goes after people on Twitter. You know what? The guy goes out on the court and he's a stone cold fucking killer. And he is unbelievable when it matters. So for as many talking points as there is about Durant,
you can nitpick
craziness,
yeah.
When you put him on a basketball court, he's one of the greatest players this game's ever seen. He's I mean, he was a magician tonight, and I'm just going back to that point. But man, it was artwork. It was the Nets star Kevin Durant that just carried this Nets team on their back, and I'll be curious. I'll be curious the minute restrictions on the Nets in Game 6, knowing they have Game 7 in their building.
I don't think there's any minutes restrictions, man. Especially Durant. He's played like how many games in 2 years? He's going. He went every minute tonight. He's like, I'm good. I'm fresh. Like, let's go. Like he said that on the post game interview with I forgot the guy from TNT, the sideline guy that interviewed him. He said, it's like I know. Steve looked at me. He's like, you need to. He's like, no, I'm good. Let's go. And that's not like typical making fun of the Nets, like, oh, the stars run the team. Like, no, if your star says in the playoffs, I'm going the whole game, I'm going the whole game. Like LeBron James or anybody like that is going the whole game. Even like Julius Randle can step up and be like, no, I'm going, I'm good, let's go. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain moment in a season, in a playoff series, where the star gets to say, like, no, we're doing this. You know what I mean? Like, so it's crazy, man. It really is. Like Durant he's really is that good. And Harden showed a lot of stones coming out tonight, and his legacy was on the line. Because we were texting about this earlier today. 3-4 years ago, Harden sits out this game. He sits out, and there's been examples of it. And every time he's in the playoffs, he's either hurt or this or that. He's like, whatever, screw it, we'll get him next year, kind of a thing. But he knows he forced the trade to the Nets. He took it on the chin there publicly, PR wise, to force his way to make this super team. He has to win. Like he's the one without the ring. Kyrie and Durant have the rings, but like Harden needs his, and this is why he went here. And if he doesn't get it, he's gonna be mocked for the rest. It's a major stand on his legacy if he doesn't win with the Nets, and he knows that. That's why he's like, I got to do this. I got to risk. It's worth the next 3 years of his career risking it, so to speak. I'm exaggerating. If he re-injures himself, God forbid, that it's worth it. I mean, I forgot where I was going, but it's worth it for him to do that, to risk himself, because it's like everything, his whole career is coming down to this playoff series in this moment. That it's not exaggeration. It's for real. Like that's why he had to go. And
what's so wild about this team too is Kyrie Irving's not there. He's hurt, and it's just like, because they've adapted to this all season long with the two stars, one guy in, one guy out, one guy in, one guy out, it doesn't seem as dramatic for them, at least, that they're playing without one of their best players in the team, right. And one of the best players in the league, is that they can.
It helps Harden and Durant grew up with each other also in the Oklahoma City, that they already know each chemistry.
Other. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's there. Oh, absolutely, that's there.
That helps a lot.
Man, I just that was one of those that was such I cannot believe that they won that basketball game. I'm like,
it was because you were so down. There's no chance. We're screwed. This is over. Your Nets doubt creeps into your brain. Like, this is it. This is how we screw it up. We all get injured, and we're not going to win a title with this team. Of course, it happens to me. And then, boom. I mean, the series isn't over, but now you're in the driver's seat again.
Not even close.
You're in the driver's seat again, though. You know what I mean? Like, you can afford to be like, all right, whatever. We'll lose this one. We'll get them back at home. You don't want to go to Game 7. You want to end it as soon as you can, of course.
Yeah,
but you're like, you just enjoy today. Enjoy today. Enjoy tonight, and that's it. Just enjoy it.
Oh my gosh, that was just fucking art. I mean, that was just fucking art. That was just a lot of years of pent up bullshit coming out in those Kevin Durant threes. It was just like boom,
boom, boom, boom,
in my
boom,
dick
boom.
When those shots were coming out, I was like, oh, it was just so fucking beautiful. He was so good. He was that was legendary stuff, and it was cool to watch. I love it.
It's great.
And kudos to the Nets crowd too, because like there's so much shit being talked about the Nets crowd. And I give Marv Albert's done a lot of games. And I know he's not the same guy that he was when he was years ago, but he was like, I can't hear shit. And he was talking about how loud it was and how great
he loves
it was.
The Nets, though. He used to work for the Nets, though.
But you know what? Fuck it, man. I'm just so pumped up. Like, the amount of bullshit everybody's got to hear. Like, Charles Barkley even said, I made it a point to watch this. When Jeff Green hit the three to go up 104-100, he said, oh, the crowd's just insane right now. At that point, it was over, or whatever. Or maybe there was the Durant three. It's like the amount of bullshit that Net fans have to hear from everybody all the time about how they're bad fans and they don't make noise and they're not loud. It was nice. It was And I know it doesn't matter, and it's not about that, but there is a part of an insecurity with me, and I'll be honest with you, Alex, and I've admitted it. There's a part of me that has an insecurity that feels good to show that off. That
Of
yes,
course.
there are fans that like truly care about this franchise.
I get it. I get that.
Truly care about this franchise, that have seen every single fucking game of their life. And you know, that crowd was fantastic. And then and you know, Julius Randle made the all-second team. So we can I know you want that about that. And then the Mets.
I'd rather talk about the Mets game tonight, man. The Mets game was wild, but you keep going, man. I'm enjoying listening to you right now. So
enough. It's just.
Can I ask you a question?
Kind of going in circles.
I got a random question.
Like. My kind of brain's just
how come
floating.
What is it with guys named Jeff or Cliff that we always put the uncle before it? Like it's like,
That's
you know, Cliff
point.
Floyd is always like Uncle Cliff. Is it the two F's, the double
Cliff
F
Robinson
thing?
was Uncle Cliff too.
Exactly. Cliff Floyd, Cliff Robinson, Jeff Green. Like, what is that? Like, it's a weird like little thing there. I don't know. You know.
Do you have an Uncle Jeff or an Uncle Cliff in your family?
I don't have an Uncle Jeff. I have a cousin Jeff.
The cousin Jeff.
I don't have. Yeah, he just passed away. Rest in peace. But yeah, no, I don't have an Uncle Jeff. No, it's okay. I don't have an Uncle Jeff. No, I or anything with an two double F's. No. So.
I'm so glad, Alex, that you could remember.
I'm trying to like.
I was like Jeff Green. I would say Jeff Green is the glue to this team. He's been so good all year. Oh my!
Somebody posted on Twitter
all year.
I know you have, and you're vindicated right now. And somebody posted on Twitter a picture of Durant and Jeff Green in their Sonics uniforms, being like, "These are the guys that are carrying the Nets."
That was great. That was when they were down 12-14.
Yeah.
That was cool, man. So yeah. Anyway, put a bow on the.
So anyway, Mets won. That was great. Yeah, no, it was great. Great game. I'm just
kind of in a different. I'm just in a different world. I'm just in a
12 strikeouts. I know you can't think about anything else. And that's
my mind is in a different world, and I just
I'll do it.
It just is. It just really is. And I know we can do this podcast.
Mike's celebration show.
Yes. We can do this fucking podcast in a week
on
and
Thursday.
It could be people coming on here going like, "Oh, Nets blew it. Nets lost 6 and 7." And trust me, my mind, Alex, is already going into how they fuck up this series mode. I'm enjoying it, but I'm already going into how they fuck up this series mode, and I can't help that. Now, let me ask a question to you. At TNT, they said, and I didn't see the rest of the conversation because I left. We're recording the podcast to rest Harden for Game 6.
No way. You play Game 5. You play Game 6. Screw that. Listen, if you're gonna have to play Game 5, you're gonna have to play Game 6, unless there's, God forbid, another strain or something that gets worse.
Of course,
fine.
Of course.
But if he's the same right now, then he better play. And if he doesn't, I'd be mad if I was you, because so you can play Game 5? Like, what are we just like? Playing every other game here? Like, this is not the regular season. Like, if you're going all in, then go all in. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, we totally would have forgave you if you didn't want to play Game 5 because you were too hurt. But you're playing Game 5 and we win, and then like now you want to sit out? Like, no. He's got to play now. I disagree with that. I would be mad if I was you. That's crazy.
What's up with how bad Joe Harris has been? And he's been.
I don't know. Had that air ball, but that was a tough shot. The
air ball at the end of there. I'll give him that, but it's just
yeah.
He just seems like a different guy than he was in the regular season, and it shows. This is a bigger stage, and there is a different people are people, and there's a different stage when the bright lights are on you. Some guys show up and some guys can't. And as great as James Harden was to come out here tonight, he did miss a lot of open shots, and he does have a history.
First half, he wasn't very good. Yeah,
he does have a history of being poor in the playoffs. But like Durant obviously enjoys the moment. He clearly in big spots plays well. Yeah. But you see, like Jeff Green showed up, but like Joe just shies away, and he was just terrible. He's got to play better if the Nets want to continue to win games. He just can't. He can't be 2 for 11 Joe, 3 for 11 Joe. He's got to make his open jumpers. I expect him to be a lot better in Milwaukee for some reason because he made a layup late, and in my head I'm like, it's going to be good. But he's got to be a lot better. He's been terrible.
Yeah, and maybe Game 6 is the Joe Harris game. You don't know, because it's been the Blake Griffin game, it's been the Jeff Green game. It's time for the Joe Harris game. It really is. I mean, it's Blake. Blake turned into a pumpkin, but you knew that was going to happen. You were just like incredibly got you the first 2 games. I mean, he didn't win them for you, but like without him, it's not as easy. And and then Jeff Green today, and it's just. It's but the series hasn't started yet, though, Mike. Though the home team has not lost, so the series has not started yet. So
well, if the series hasn't started yet, I have just been one crazy motherfucker, and I have just been exhausted, and I have just been tired, and I've just
for nothing. It's not even playoffs yet. It's just,
oh my god. Yeah, it's not even. I mean, what a crazy night. All right, so the
Look,
Nets
can you
win.
believe Seth Lugo is back? 2
So
innings.
tell me about the Mets game
No, it's
tonight. I
good.
kind of watched it on my phone a little bit. I saw
Yeah.
What was the final score? I have no idea.
They won 3-2, and Lugo went the last 2 innings. Diaz wasn't available. He went 2 innings. He had 3 strikeouts, only one walk, 2 hits. But it was just he looked like Lugo, and I know he's been back. He's been playing a few games, but today was the first time I was like, wow, yeah. Like last game too, he pitched. He looked really good. But this was like 2 innings of like this is Lugo, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just like, wow. And Ty Walker, I wasn't really that excited about the signing because he hasn't been healthy in his career, and he's screwed me in fantasy a few times. I was kind of like held that against him, I think, a little bit, but he's been incredible. And again today, 7 innings, 12 strikeouts, dude. Like it's incredible. And I mean, it's just there was a play towards the end of the game. I forgot which inning it was, maybe the 8th, and there was a shot in the gap, and Marisnik, our old friend, was on second, and he's rounding third, and the third base coach sends him home, and he's out by like a foot. It was crazy. It got him really kind of got him out of that jam. And that was just like the most wild play. And it was just, you know what? It's just so nice. And Alonso had a big hit, and it's so nice. The Mets are doing really well. It's making me feel better about the Knicks not being around and seeing the Nets win. And it's like helping me.
Yeah, of course.
Focus. And like, oh, Zach Wilson's in shorts. I'm like, okay, like, let's see. Okay, we got some things brewing here.
I got to be honest, though, Alex. I got to be really honest with you.
You don't care. Yeah.
Like, you wearing Met stuff is freaking me out. It's like weirding me out. I don't know. It looks. You ever see like when a player is on the your hair looks great. You ever see when like
I need a haircut tomorrow actually. So.
Nah, I would keep it. You look hot. When like
get the afro going.
Yeah, no, it's very sexy.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
Oh, I don't know. When like there's trade rumors and you see a guy in another team jersey and a hat and they're like, oh my god, there's a rumor that Alex B is going to the Mets. You look like you're wearing your Knicks stuff, but because of all the trade rumors that they put you in Mets garb. Like when I look at you now, I see you in like Mets stuff, but it's superimposed and
you used to see me in Knicks stuff, yeah.
It looks like somebody did a Photoshop of you and you're in Met stuff, and that's what's kind of weirding me out right now.
It's like one of those when a baseball player gets traded and they like Photoshop the hat on the thing, and it's just like, how did he get that hat already? Like he'd be on ESPN with like a different hat. Yeah, no,
Photoshopped in Met shit.
I am, but I am a Mets fan.
I know you are. I am too.
And I'm very excited.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing. I was paying attention to the Mets while the Knicks were in the playoffs, but it's really hard. Like, you know what I mean? There's a different story left and right. One day it's this, one day it's that. It's the rotation. It's Alfred. It's this. It's that.
Right.
Oh, Noel. Capella said this. Trey said that. And then it's like, all right, now that's all gone. And now it's like, all right, now I can really focus on the Mets.
So anyway, what did you think of Randle getting all second team? I know your juices weren't flowing when Coach Tibbs got Coach of the Year because of now you're a little more removed from the next season, so the sting isn't as tough. What did you think of Randle making all NBA second team? Did it feel appropriate to you?
It's not as exciting as it would have if they were still active, of course. But you know what? I'm really, really happy for him as a person because he's just a good dude. You know what I mean? Family man. And he's just really like, you know what? You worked your ass off. You deserve this. And I'm really, really happy for him, proud of him as a Knicks fan that he's on my team. And it's just, I know he didn't play well in the playoffs, but you know what? Like, it didn't matter at that point. He deserved this to be recognized on that level. It's just an incredible accomplishment. And it's not only that, it's like his salary now goes up like a step because he got the All NBA, and that's great for him. And I know kind of I forgot who tweeted me. It was like kind of like I kind of don't want him to get an All NBA because then we could sign him for less. You know what I mean? And it's just like I was like, well, that's like a chess and not checkers kind of a thinking there. But you know what? It's just fuck it. Right. You know what I mean? Like, good for him, man. He deserves it. He deserves it. And Tibbs, I feel like the Coach of the Year was kind of too soon. It was still kind of a raw feeling, and I was like, wasn't ready for it. And it was kind of like, plus it's a coach. It's like, Coach of the Year. Okay, big deal. Yeah, all in second team All NBA is like a major accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? That's like major, and that's not like just getting an all-star. That's something that doesn't happen to the Knicks ever. You know what I mean? That's not something that happens every day to your team. To my team, at least, it's just it's great. I'm really, really happy for him. And no, there was no feelings of whatever. You know what I mean? And not. I think the Tibbs thing was more fresh, and it's a coach. It's like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, big deal. Yeah, so
I got to move with this vacuum. I've hit it like 3 times. Got to stop.
You got a what?
I have this like vacuum here.
Oh, like a
Gotta
little
move that, like,
okay,
3
like a
times.
Dyson thing.
Put it in the air. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah,
Instant
it's
ring
okay.
sound.
You can start cleaning if you want. I could just talk and you could just start cleaning.
No one would hear you if I started vacuuming during the podcast. Do you know how bad that would be? Bad weather fans where Mike vacuums and Alex talks about the Knicks and their draft pick ideas. That'll go well.
Maybe we can do a Patreon with just you vacuuming and see if people subscribe to that.
Paid to watch. I mean, seriously, like, no offense. If people were like, Mike, we'll pay you to vacuum, I'd do it.
Yeah.
Should we test it? Like, what would it, how much money would you pay to watch me vacuum?
I don't know if I'd pay to watch you vacuum, but
Like
I'd pay you to come
Patreon.
here and vacuum. I'd pay you to come here and vacuum my apartment, and then we can like that. I'd pay you to do.
Okay. What
But,
day?
I don't know. This weekend? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know.
Man. I'll do a vacuum podcast.
Don't you find it funny when everybody's watching this stuff on TNT, right? Or I was following it on Twitter. I wasn't watching because I was watching the Mets and I was like reading the tweets that were coming out. The All NBA team was being announced, and then you get these like these reporters who act like they have sources. League says Julius Randle's made the second team.
Well,
Like
they're right.
the league did say, but like you're acting like you were informed. Like Adam Silver like texted you and said Julius Randle's the. Like, I just think that's kind of pathetic. That's just me. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, and don't hate the player, hate the game. I try to talk myself into that, but just after a while, you're on Twitter enough, or you just follow sports enough. You're just like, come on, dude, I'm watching it on TV. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't do anything. You don't know anything special anyway. I don't know. But also, I think you're at this point where you don't give a damn who hates the Nets, man. You're like, hate me all you want. You're at that level. You don't even care. During the regular season, it definitely bothered you, even a little more than you let on.
I've got like blinders now. I've got blinders
now. It's just
I tune it all out.
Damn. Yeah, the Nets, they're not a very likable team from the outside. It's just, it is what it is, and they're your guys, and it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like for me, like, you know, being a diehard Jets fan, like the Patriots are number one hated team over the last 20 years, obviously. But I look at guys like Edelman or like Gronk, I'm like, those are cool guys. Like, you know what I mean? I wish they were on my, you know what I mean? Those are cool guys. But I look at like Durant and Harden and Kyrie, I'm like, oh, look at these like weirdos, you know what I mean? Kind of a thing. I'm just like,
oh, sure. Sure.
They're so easy to hate. They're so easy to hate.
We had a text exchange with this. When they're on your team, you know, granted, if there's stuff that's just like vile and out of line, but
it's
like,
different. Yeah.
You know,
John Starks is the perfect example. Everybody hated John Starks, but Knicks
like,
fans.
yeah, if it's stuff that's like, oh, I hate Kevin Durant because he gets in Twitter fights with Michael Rappaport, it's okay.
Yeah.
When they're on your team and it's not stuff that's like legit bad, you love them. Okay. You love your players because you love your team and you find a bond there. So you don't care. And I've had complete blinders with that. And it's like, you know, to give an example, I've got a direct message tonight from, I'll leave him nameless because it's not that important. But you only respond to my tweets when the Nets win, and then he did one of
your
these
teeth
when your teeth win. You only respond to my tweets when the Nets win, and he did one of these emojis where he had his hands on his chin, kind of like thinking face, and it's like
right.
Yeah,
like you're a fraud. Like you're a fraud. Like
you're right. I only do that. Correct. But
so.
What do you want?
Like, I don't want to talk about it when they suck. Like,
when they lose. I mean, come on. Yeah, like no shit.
Yeah.
I just think that, you know, it's just
people are such fucking assholes. Like I put out that tweet today, man, at Knicks Central. If people don't follow me, I'm just so tired of like people just they take bits and pieces of your opinions and you tweet enough and then it's just this and then they're like, oh, but he never admits to this. I'm like, I fucking did. Like, you know, it's just like, you know what? I'm just so done and I'm just saving it for the podcast. And I'm like, I'm still going to be on Twitter, still tweeting about different things and games and you know, but like reactions are getting into it. I'm trying to just like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to like really try not to do that anymore. And it's just,
your opinions
it's just not worth it.
You're awesome on this podcast. I got to tell you.
Thank you.
You're very good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you're not sarcastic.
No, I'm not sarcastic. I like doing this with you and I'm in a good mood. If the Nets lost this game, I don't think I'd be, you know, giving you this kind of praise, but I'm okay to do it.
Another thing I wanted to bring up, we can bring it full circle and bring another team we could talk about. The Jets, Jamal Adams is sitting out mini camp because
I miss all of it. I've been in my own world.
He's holding out because he wants. Oh my god, it's so fun. I'm fascinated by trades, like by trades and how they work out down the road.
Sitting out with the Seahawks.
Yeah, he's holding out because he wants a new deal. Like,
Oh my God.
it's just like, and that's probably why Russell Wilson is like, dude, can you pay me? And like, can you not pay me? Can you get me an offensive line? Like, you got me receivers. Like, you get me some protection. I'm getting my brains beat in, and you're gonna pay a safety and trade all these picks for a safety. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? But like, I'm just fascinated by like the Porzingis trade, how it's playing out, the Kellenic trade, how it's playing out. Edwin Diaz looks like incredible. He looks like the Mariners' Edwin Diaz. You know what I mean? You have like Jamal Adams, and it's just like they got all these picks and all this stuff. We don't know how they're gonna work out, but it's just like getting him off the team was just like, and then getting a haul for a safety was incredible. It's just I just love that, especially when it's working in my favor, because it's so often that it doesn't work in my favor. You know what I'm saying? Like, well you have all these trades that don't.
You've seen too with baseball players, especially relievers, Alex. I'm not reinventing the wheel here, saying something that nobody's heard before. But with guys that are relievers, they're up, down, up, down. So somebody that's still young, who's had such a great early season career when he was at the Mariners, he was the best closer in baseball with the ERA of the whatevers. And it just, for whatever reason, it took him a little more time to get used to the New York atmosphere. And now, you know, he's into it. They play the trumpets when he comes out. The fans are having fun. And it's just, and I'll say this about New York sports, and it's a front-running town, in my opinion. But when they're in the front, there's nothing like having New York behind you. There really isn't. And like, if the Mets, you know, the Yankees are the Yankees, and the Mets are, because the Mets have had less success, I do feel like there's more of a backing of the Mets, not because they're better fans or anything like that, but because they're more just dying for a championship. They're dying for moments. So there's a vibe to the Mets that you don't have with other teams. Like why the vibe with the Knicks was so good, because that fan base is dying for wins. And that's why it was so electric in the Garden, why it was so great. And it's why with the Nets, they're building these moments. It's why they're building to get to even a place that's not even where the Knicks are. But the point I'm trying to make is there is just this electricity with like the Mets and building, and Diaz has been so good and coming in, and it took him a couple of years, and now that relationship is bonding. And I'm sure he'll blow a big moment for all of us, and we'll be pissed. But at this point right now, where the Mets are, I mean, you couldn't ask for more with what the Mets have done for you with all the injuries. Their pitching's been amazing. Of course, DeGrom, they've pieced together games. Guys you've never heard of have come up, and you know, they're 9 games over 500, and like they played like 72 less games than everybody else in the NL East.
Right, and you still have Conforto coming back, McNeil coming back. You still all these guys that are just like, it's, and that's what's so exciting. And then you have Syndergaard and Carrasco, and like you never know, and like it's just like, oh my God! And Lindor hasn't even played it up to his level, like even close.
And they're winning games,
and they're still winning. It's just incredible, and it's just that's the excitement. It's that, oh my God, like we actually can make a run this year, win this division, and it's crazy, and that's why it's so exciting. And that's the thing, like you're right about that, where it's like there's more passion for a team like the Mets than there is for other teams. I mean, I can't speak, I'm not a Yankees fan, but like I remember 2015 going to game 1 of the NLCS with my dad and watching Harvey mow down the Cubs. Like, I remember that, and I'll remember that the rest of my life. You think Yankee fans are thinking about game 1 of an ALCS or like, you know what I mean? Maybe in 1996, but like now it's like, all right, you know, let's win a championship. We have won in the last 20 years. Come on, can we win it already? We're in the playoffs every year. Big freaking deal. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not as exciting as what we're going through right now. It's just human nature. Really
like why I don't know hockey at all, and I'm not going to pretend that I know hockey, but I know human emotion. Why are Islander fans so fucking excited? Because it's been since 1980, blah blah blah.
And they move different buildings, and they're here. They might move to Kansas City. They're here. They're there. They're in Brooklyn. They're this. They're that. And now they're back in the barn, and they're crushing it. And it's like
this is it. This is, you wait moments.
All the stars have aligned.
Light for these spots. And that's why, like this Nets win, you wait your whole, I mean, this is one of those games where I'll just be thinking about, and like Leon the cat is just passed the fuck out on the couch. And I'm so neurotic. It's like, I can't move Leon. You know, my wife said, if the game gets close, wake me up. I said, fuck it. They're on a run. You're sleeping. I can't mess with this mojo. You're not watching this game.
I don't want to have to explain what happened. Like, no, I'd
rather get yelled at for not waking up than waking up and we lose. I mean, I was at that level of crazy, but that's what you wait your whole life for this shit. And that's I'm speaking on the W side, because on the L side, it's a whole different thing. On the L side, it's more of these like, why do I watch these games? I'm just hate life and I just go here to lose. But for the 5% of them, when you win, it's worth it. It's almost more fun, Alex, to have teams that suck when you can have the wins, because they mean that much more. They really do. I mean, at some point, it's like if you're a Patriots fan, is Super Bowl
like
5?
big deal.
I mean, at some point, it's like, does it really?
Right. They're like, oh, we'll go to the Super Bowl next year. Big deal. We'll get tickets next year. It's just
like whatever, or if you're a Lakers fan, I get it. It's great. But at some point, it's like, okay, I've seen them. If you're like a true Laker fan, I've seen all of these. But if you're me as a Nets fan, you as a Knicks fan, and I think this is the heart of the podcast. You're watching these Mets games, and in 1986 they won a World Series. You're 1-2 years old. You don't remember. I'm 3. We don't remember this.
No,
you've never seen it. And if it's something you've never seen before, and it's something you're passionate about, these are the moments you live for as a sports fan, and you die to have them. And that's what makes them so special, when you can see them and you can live them and you can feel them.
Yeah, no, and it's such a miserable. If I can come back as a different person, like down the road, years after I die, like I don't want to be a sports fan, because it's miserable. You're miserable your entire life, and you might get that one shining moment, like couple shining moments where you remember, but like most of the time you're miserable, and it's just something like I've done better at it. I've been better at it as I've gotten older, of trying to enjoy the moment a little more. I know people think my perception is that I'm negative all the time, but it's just that I'm just like realistic with my teams. Like when they're done, they're done. When I think they stink, I think they stink. But like when they're riding and they're great, I'm gonna enjoy soak in every kind of moment. I'm gonna watch every TV show, every YouTube show, every little thing. Yeah. I'm gonna support, and I'm gonna watch, and I'm gonna like suck in every information. But when they're bad, I can't. It's miserable. It's like actually miserable.
It's
like
miserable.
The Jets over the last 10 years. Like not that I don't follow football anymore, but I'm not as like sucked into everything as I was, because they've been so bad. Like besides their 2015 year, which was like a fake 10-6 year, it's just kind of like, like a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, so it is what it is. I mean, you got a good point. It's I don't even know where I'm going. It's sports fandom is something that you can't explain to people who are not sports fans, especially when you're fans of your teams. Like the people who are just fans of certain players, like it doesn't count the same. You become emotionally invested. It's part of your body. You can't be like, I'm not gonna wake up like, what, throw this Mets hat out. I'm gonna go root for the Yankees or the Twins or something, or the Dodgers tomorrow. Like no, like this is my team. Like I might get mad at them for a couple of years if they do something stupid, like they don't offer Jose Reyes a contract, but like I'm not gonna like not root for them anymore. They're still my team, but I'm not going to be as passionate about it for like a period of time, or maybe a couple months. And like, then something will suck me back in. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll get mad and put them on the shelf for a little bit.
Not the topic I want to bring up, because I've got a topic I want to bring up, because I think I'm really curious to hear your end of this, because I think you and I are very similar in our fandom. So I think we've probably had moments like this where we can relate. But I do want to say, I think the one spot is like if your team were to move like I'm not saying like the Nets moved to Brooklyn, although they did lose fans. It actually met somebody today. So they used to be a New Jersey fan, and when they went to Brooklyn, they said I wasn't into it. But
Dolan, Jay Trump?
No, it was not him. It was somebody else. But like if the X and X team moves to San Diego in 5-7 years, maybe you won't be. I don't know. I've never had that experience, so I can't answer that, but I understand that perspective. But the part I wanted to talk to you about is because you and I are crazy with our teams. Have you ever watched a game with somebody that wasn't like, I don't want to say, you're watching a Knicks game with a Clipper fan and they're not into it, but they know your respect level, but watching like an NBA game with somebody who's not into the NBA and they're watching you, and you have these moments where you're like, they're like saying things that annoy you, and you kind of like get upset. Yeah. Like I'm kind of curious on your front on that topic.
I have two examples that come to my mind. A friend of mine, I'm not friends with him anymore, but his wife at the time, we were watching. So remember the Patriots undefeated year, Giants won the Super Bowl, of course. So that Super Bowl, Jets and Giants fans were rooting for the Giants that year. It was everybody against the Patriots, against the world. So I was passionate about that game, cheering like the Jets were in the Super Bowl. Like, obviously not like that, but I was rooting hard for the Giants to win because I wanted the Patriots to suffer, at all, especially the Spygate and the whole thing, like cheaters, and there was that moment with the Tyree catch, and we all stood up and like, it was like a sucking, like you're like, does he have it? Like everybody kind of like had that moment, and she's looking at us like, what the fuck is wrong with these? Like she's like not even like standing at the couch, she's like in the kitchen watching us, like what is wrong with these motherfuckers? You know what I mean? Kind of a feeling, and there's that, and then there's the time where you've probably been there, where you're like, oh, watch with my friend's husband. He's a big Jets fan. Let's watch the game. And you watch it, and like within like 5 minutes of watching the game, you're like, oh, this guy knows nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like how like oh, that's the guy that does. Like, it's not, dude. Like, I'm just like, oh god, this is.
It's funny too when you say that, because you know the radar of comments that where you're like, there's comments where you disagree. But you can have like you say something, you go, that's stupid, but let me argue it. And then there's comments where you're like, no, like this is not a conversation to even
where you just yes them to death. You're like, yeah, true.
Yeah. It's not like an actual like, oh, should Shamit be in over Joe Harris in certain spots? Like actual conversations. So I want to give a shout out to two people on this podcast because I'm feeling good. I want to give out a shout out to my dad, and I want to give a shout out to my father-in-law. So my dad, I'll start with him on this front. He's the one that got me into the Nets. Obviously, went to all these games, and it's been so much fun with him to text back and forth in the emotion and like the excitement of it, like all of that. And then I want to give a shout out to my father-in-law, who's not a big NBA fan, but I've kind of drawn him into the Nets. And like now he's seen so much of the Nets that we're texting, and he knows what's going on with Harden and rotation. So like to me, like kudos to me. I think on those two fronts, I think that's really, really cool. So I want to give my dad and my father-in-law for both being like, my dad, like for my dad, he was such a huge New Jersey Nets fan, and he lost it a little bit. This has kind of brought him back in.
That's good.
So it's been cool connecting with him and seeing all of that. And then with my father-in-law, to see him not be a huge NBA fan, but kind of fall in love with the Nets because I forced him to, and I gave him no choice. And they're good too, which has helped. But then to get into these moments where he's like texting me about all these, like, just to see that passion on those two sides, it was kind of cool for me. And I really thought that was awesome.
Well, that's the thing about being a sports fan. It bonds you with your family or your friends. Like I have certain friends, like my two friends, Matt and Randall, that I went to the Knicks game 2 with. Like they're some of my closest friends from kids, but like we don't talk as often because the Knicks aren't that good. Like, you know what I mean? Like they weren't that good for so long. So we didn't see each other as much. Like a lot of times that we'd hang out with like, yo, there's a game on, let's go watch it. Or it became like once a year, we're going to watch the draft together or something. You know what I mean? Like it was not like as it used to be. And then like this brought that back. Like, Randall's still in my wedding party and one of my groomsmen and stuff, Matt I'm really close with, but like, it's not the same. And like, we're at this moment where Obi Toppin has that alley-oop dunk in game 2 and we're jumping on top of each other and having that, like, it's just, you can't explain that kind of passion to somebody who's not a sports fan. You really can't. And it's just, they don't get that kind of bond that it gives you. It's like, you're part of a group. It's a clique. It's a fraternity of your teams and stuff like that, And I don't know. That's just how I feel. And random question I wanted to ask you actually about this. What do you think about the pitchers with the spider tack and the Garrett Cole thing and the Yankee? I'm just curious what you think about the cheating and baseball, because I just feel like Yankee fans are a bit hypocritical from this, where it's like you're so mad at the Astros for cheating, but you don't understand your team cheats. Every team cheats, especially the Yankees with the steroid guys they had, and you guys are cheering for them the whole, and then whatever, and just, I was like, would you guys relax? Like,
well, I think it brings
alone. You know what I'm saying?
I think it brings it back to what you said originally, Alex. Is that you're a fanatic of a team, or maybe I said this a little bit too with Durant. When he's doing all that stuff on Twitter, when they're your players, you don't care. And
exactly,
I'll admit if I'm hypocritical. I don't think the Nets are, putting sticky stuff on balls, but when it's your guys, you have a different view of it. And you can listen to this podcast and you can say, oh no, it's my guys. I don't think that differently. Again, I'm not talking about serious stuff, but when it's, cheating and then it's our cheating, you have a different viewpoint when it's true players, because it's just like, I'll look at it this way, Alex. if somebody's gonna talk shit, I don't have. Okay, I have a sister, but like, point is like, if I'm gonna say something about my sister, I can say it, right?
Right.
But if
you
say
can't
it,
say it. I can't say it.
oh,
Yeah.
no. This is my family. And it's
Right.
the same thing with sports. When it's outside, you can give it shit. But when it's yours, your whole viewpoint changes. And if you don't think you're like that, you're very hypocritical. Okay. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's true.
The majority
It's
of
true.
people think that way, and me included. And I don't. Nah.
Well, like,
See
look at
what
the
happens,
Mets. The
but
Mets
it's the same
had
thing.
the Mets were called Bobby Valentine. They had cameras set up all over the stadium. Like,
You
this,
always
like, cameras,
find a way to spin it. You
there's
do.
always, yeah. It's like, all right, whatever. Everybody's doing it, and that's how it is. And that's why I was kind of like, guys, you gotta give the I know the Astros cheated and they were doing it and whatever. They got caught, but like, everybody's cheating in baseball. It's ingrained in the culture of baseball that you just gotta chill. You're gonna get caught. Your team is gonna get caught cheating something in the next couple of years, and then you're gonna look like freaking idiots, which is what's going on.
That's why I
And
said, and I
so-
like this, Alex, and you said you respected me because I'm always looking for your respect. But we were
No,
talking
I mean,
about
you need
Durant.
it. Yeah.
And I said to you, I was like, dude, I get it. I get why you hate him. I get why people dislike him. But what am I supposed to say? I don't care about his Twitter interactions. I turned a blind eye because of moments like tonight. How could this is what it's about? This is what it's about. And at least I'm honest about it. Okay, he's annoying on Twitter. He fights with 14-year-old girls. He fights with 17. He fights with 62-year-old men. But you know what? He then goes out and puts on games like this, which
Drops
not many
50.
people can say they've ever done. And that's
No.
why I turned a blind eye to all the bullshit, because it's about all of this stuff, and I can go that way. And I'll just be honest. That's the truth.
Yeah, no, and when you were giving your little rant just now, I was thinking about that Bill Parcells quote where he's like, "This is why you lift all those damn weights. This is why you run all those laps. This is why you do all this."
Right, baby.
I forgot how it goes. It's true, and it's so true. It really is, and it's really crazy. And Durant today was a legacy game for Durant and Harden, for both of them, because this is a major what do you call it? I want to say medal for them. I don't know what the terminology would
I
be.
look at more.
This is major win, major W for them in their
Harden's so tough because he played through it all, but then I'm more disappointed in Harden at the end of the game. He's taking shots and Durant's standing there, and I'm like,
give it to Durant. Yeah.
Make
Everybody just get out of the way. Everybody get out of the way.
At this point, it's his game. The guys. Yeah. I don't need to see James. I'm like, it's awesome. You've out here, and clearly you've had an impact by just being here. But this is one of those games where this is Durant. He's got 49 points.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy, and it's crazy. He just there's nothing else to say.
All right, you want to do the poll question and the
Yeah, let's do the poll question first, and then we'll do the jersey, because that's what we've been doing. I think it's better that way. Let us know what you guys think. The poll question. Okay, so Knicks fans, we always debate which particular player is available or fits nonstop. So, what specific position do you want the Knicks to target in the offseason, and comment why? Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, or big man? Which
point guard.
Do you think one?
Point guard.
Yeah, by far. I should have said besides point guard. You know what I mean?
I know the Knicks too well at this point, Alex.
Yes, you are a Knicks fan at heart.
That's right, baby. I just wanted to orange and blue.
Yeah, I just wanted to say what position, because every offseason there's like, oh, there's this guy, but we can't afford him. And then you get these blogs and these podcasts that are like breaking down with their calculator and breaking down the numbers of the different things. And we can't afford this guy. It doesn't fit in the contract. And there's always something happens that nobody even expects. There's some trade. There's some guy that takes less. There's something. It's just try to go for the guys that, like, think of the guys you want and think of the positions you want, and just hope that happens. And stop trying to like put it together and we have cap space, we got to save it. Just develop you guys, get you guys, hope for the positions. Stop worrying about like your I mean, that's for different podcasts. You want to listen to that, that's for you. But like for me, I just like to hope and look at the guys available and let somebody else figure it out if it can fit. Okay, but that's my little rant. So anyway, a few shout outs. So we have Dylan Burns. He's at Dylan Burns 95. Because we haven't had an elite point guard since 1973. I don't care what position we need. We just want playmakers. I agree, but I think the last elite point guard they had was Mark Jackson. That's me. But next we have Celestial Will. He's at HTTP WW3. This offseason, like after the draft, definitely a small forward. A strong two-way wing to pair with RJ. If the Blazers blow everything up, I'd love to have Rocco on this team. Who's Rocco? Rocco? I don't know who Rocco is.
Deli?
Paul Deli? That's the Twins manager?
What do you mean, Ricky Rubio, maybe? Like any
I don't know. He
typos?
said ROCO. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever.
Roco.
So yeah, my boy, he's at Uncle Fulio. He goes,
I don't
it's a
know
guard and wing league. Knicks are in need of a guy who can close at the same time, play good defense. The best place for them to address this is the three. If the Knicks get a serviceable point guard at best, we still will lack the necessary scoring required to win close games. Okay, that's a good point. Let's see if I can get something that's our boy, Sir Ersin Demir, or Demir. I'm sorry if I'm botching your name. Our boy from the Netherlands. He goes, surprise, small forward only got 9%. We're lacking a solid wing. Every successful team in the playoffs was at least one. The point guard spot is already filled with Rose, IQ, and Vildoza. We just need a good starter there. The small forward spot where the battle is fought, as most of the best players can play the small forward spot. For me, I'd hope we bring in Melo on a vet minimum and try to acquire a small forward. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to blah, blah, blah him, but he goes on for like 3 more tweets. I get his point, but I'm not putting my chips on Vildoza. I mean, the Argentinian guy that they signed at the end of the season. I know he was a great player in Argentina, and he might be a steal. Maybe he's Manu Ginobili, but I know Manu's not a point guard, but maybe he's that level. But maybe he's also Pablo Prigioni. Like, I mean, he could be like this. Like, what are we gonna do?
We haven't seen it.
Obviously,
you don't know.
We don't know. We can't. I can't bet on that, but they know. So we'll see. Let's see. Let's see if we can go another one. Let's see. A lot of people say point guard, no comment, no question, whatever. Let's see. Our boy Bobby, he's at Rude Boy NYK. I pick small forward. I'm not giving up on quickly being developed into a point guard. We need a dynamic, versatile scoring wing. So it's a good point. You want to do one more?
More.
Let's see if I can find a good one. Here we go. Tim Shady. He's at Tim Rice Aroni. Tim Rice Aroni.
I got you.
Great answer. Elfrid Payton. ... That's his answer.
Bring Elfrid back. Just fuck it. Just bring him back. Just for fun. Imagine if
they should just sign him.
No chance he's back, right?
No chance. No chance. Not after the way he was benched in the playoffs. If he started all the playoff games, then I would be like, oh, maybe they really do still like him, and they'll bring him back as a backup.
That ran its course.
The way it ended, and his mom's trashing them on Twitter.
It's when your mom trashes you on Twitter, it's over.
Yeah, or trashes them. If your mom trashes you on Twitter, then you got.
Well, yeah.
Then you're like, Eminem or something. But all right, so that's the poll question.
All right, I'm bringing up some Nick jersey numbers. You want me to go first?
Jersey number 30. You want me to explain it first, like I always do?
Oh yeah. Every time I interrupt you and you go, Mike, you gotta explain this. Okay, yeah, go for it.
So every episode in the beginning of the podcast, when we started, we were doing a jersey number per episode. So it was episode 42. We look up the number 42s on either team and test each other. But since we're in the 60s, we are just guessing random numbers now. What episode is it? 68, right?
Yeah, 68. I got an interesting one for you tonight. This is an interesting one.
All right, let's go.
Number 18 for the Knicks.
Sasha Vujacic.
That's not who I wanted to give
Phil
you.
Jackson.
Yep, you got it.
See, Sasha picked 18 because of Phil Jackson. See, I know a lot of random shit like that. So
that was a good job by you. I thought Phil would be difficult, but you got it. That's what I wanted to go with. You can see too.
There you go.
Pick Phil.
There you go. See, you suck. There you go. Big Phil.
Look, I was lit up.
Yes, I see. There's a lot of 18s. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can name any other 18s. That's pretty good.
Would you be able to name other 18s? Yes, Alec Burks.
Oh, yeah.
Roger Mason, we've done. You didn't get that.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And there's some really tough ones of guys I've never heard of. Connie Simmons, you might know.
Who?
Connie Simmons?
No, I never heard of him.
Famous Connie.
Let's see. So I want to go to your wheelhouse. Every time I pick somebody that's like semi-famous, I'm like, oh, and then they play like 20 games. Like I was just looking at Jamal McGlure. I'm like, oh, that'd be a good one.
McGlure, yeah, 21.
Yeah.
Was that 21?
Let's see. No, it was 20. Close.
Sorry.
All right. So let's see. Oh, see, I don't know how to pronounce his name. No, you would.
Goran Planic. Zoran Planinic. Sorry, Zoran.
No, it was well, let's see if you can guess. 2007. He's number he played 5 games. You're never gonna get this.
Dolan.
Millie
Oh yeah, that was the guy. I remember
number 9.
I remember before the games he would eat pastrami. I'm sure you didn't remember that. He had pastrami on rye. Oh yeah, I know him. Who is it?
Millie Illich.
He was a second round pick.
Was
Illich.
he?
I wouldn't have remembered the number.
Oh, he was a second round pick. So
but I do remember
9,
them drafting him. Yes.
Yeah, because he was a draft pick.
Yeah.
You're a big draft guy. So
but I
you
don't
would know that.
remember his
Okay.
number. That I couldn't tell you. Because I don't think
Okay,
he ever
what's
played a
today's-
game. I don't think he ever played for the Nets.
He
don't
played
think he
5
did.
games, it says.
Oh, good. Five
Said
games. So, yeah. Didn't work.
Probably 5 like garbage minute games that you probably stopped watching at that point. Okay, so today's a 6. No, there's no 6. Okay, so this podcast is probably coming out on the 17th, right? So this guy played for the
No,
it's
the 16th.
now.
It'll come out on Wednesday.
Oh, it is the 16th. Oh, it's
Yeah.
after 12 already. Jeez,
Yeah,
we're
I'll put it out
late.
today. No, it won't wait a day.
No, I thought it was before 12. That's all. I didn't realize it's already 12:25.
No. It'll be out.
So okay,
it'll be
well,
out in
either
an
way,
hour.
number 17 for the Nets from 1978-79 to 79-80. You would know who this is.
I don't know the 70s stuff.
He played for the Knicks first for years.
I don't know who it is. I'm not even going to use my brain. I'm giving up. I'm punting.
Phil Jackson.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. I legit did not know that.
Not your wheelhouse. That's not your
You got
wheelhouse
me.
at all.
You got me. You got me. Good job. Okay, you don't have to do another
I
one.
did.
That's fine. You're like, I got to do something from 2005 or the second round draft pick.
How about this one? 96-97. He played 31 games for the Nets, started all 31 games. He averaged 16 and a half points. He was number 22. Really good NBA player. Played a lot of years.
96, 97, number 22.
He played 31 games.
That's it for the Nets?
That's it.
Jim Jackson.
Got it. Look at you, man. That was good. See? You had to redeem yourself a little bit there. That was a good one.
It's
good,
not
huh?
even about the
He was
number.
really
It's
good.
about thinking about like the year and the trades.
year.
He was involved in the Sean Bradley deal. So like a point I'm trying to
Oh.
make is when I can tell you that fucking Jim Jackson wore number 22 in 1996, I've watched a lot of this bullshit. So tonight felt really good.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
That's a
what I'm
good
saying?
point. That's a good point.
But yeah,
That's a good
Jimmy
point.
J.
You know Illich,
Millie Illich.
whatever this guy.
Yeah,
Millie
Jim
Illich.
Jim Jackson. I'll say this Jim Jackson story. I booked him on Geo and Jones years before he got popular on TV, and he was so raw on the radio, we had to dump him twice because he said fuck 2 times, and he didn't know he could say fuck. So there's a Jim.
That was like me when I was interviewed on SUNY Old Westbury radio. I cursed twice on the
I don't think
radio.
they gave a shit.
No, they didn't care. They were just happy to have me on. It was a great time.
Yeah, if
I
you
was
ever
so
get
happy.
interviewed on the fan, don't
curse.
at all.
I'm just so used to podcasting. Like I don't
I
have to,
know.
and
No,
like
it's
every day,
different.
I'm not even in the office anymore. So I'm just home all the time. So I never have to watch my mouth. Really,
Right.
You
That's
know
a
what I mean?
really
So
good
it's like-
point. Like, because you're not in an office anymore. I've been going back into my office at my new place, which has
Yeah,
been
yeah.
great. Like, just mentally going to work.
yeah.
But yeah, you just can't just be like, it's fucking report. You'd be like, ugh. You just can't do
Ugh.
that.
Yeah, no, you can't. But anyway, so number 9 also was Robert Pack. By the way, I don't know if you've heard of Robert Pack on the Nets.
have.
He's a great player.
Yes. Your boy.
We mention him often. That's our guy. We got to have him on the show one day.
Yeah, we'll have Robert on this summer. That'll be a goal project. All right, Alex. It's been episode
Uncle
number
Robert.
68.
Uncle Robert doesn't work, right?
Uncle Robert Pack, the leader
Uncle
of
Robbie.
the pack. Uncle Rob, RP.
See, it doesn't sound as good as Cliff or Jeff. Uncle Jeff, Uncle
Cliff.
Cliff. It just rolls off the tongue.
Well, this has been Uncle Mike, Uncle Alex. This has been Bad Weather Fans, episode number 68. The Brooklyn Nets defeat the Milwaukee Bucks 114-108, take a 3-2 lead versus the, I guess I said it, versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Julius Randle, All-NBA, second team, and the Mets get a win. And I don't know what we talked about for the last hour and 5 minutes, but it was a lot of fun. Hey, guys, if you haven't listened or if you haven't watched on YouTube, go over. I don't know what I'm saying, Alex. You do this.
We're on YouTube, Bad Weather Fans. We're on all podcast apps, Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, every podcast app you can think of. Somebody was just DMing me the other day, like, hey, you're on this app. I didn't even remember the name of it because it was like, what the hell are you talking about? But we're on there too. So if you have a random podcast app, we're there also. Bad Weather Fans of Mike and Alex. Our intro music by Snotty Nose. It's awesome. I've been listening to it randomly. It's Bad
great.
Weather Fans is the relation. It really is. It's great, man.
Can I give a
have
shout
great
out
time.
to on Twitter, Damon718? I'm not going to
Yes.
say our Twitter exchange, but if you listen to Bad Weather Fans and you made it to this long in the podcast, you know why I'm thinking of you. Thank you.
Damon's the best. He's really one of the really good guys on Twitter.
really
You know,
is.
he's just a normal guy.
But thank you. You know what we're talking about.
Yes. Shout out to Damon.
All right,
That's
this has been Bad Weather Fans, episode number 68. We'll see y'all next time for 69. But Alex, good shit as always. Have a great night, my friend.
You too. Let's go, Mets.